Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ISFL and DSFL awards stream. Thank you all for joining us today. I am your host, Mojo Jojo, and I am really thrilled to let you all meet the team here today with me that is going to be announcing your DSFL and ISFL award winners for season 29. And so I will turn the floor over to them to each introduce themselves. Cody, you want to start?
Yeah, I believe by team you mean panel of experts. That's what I'm going to go with. My name is Cody, aka Snarly Dude. I'm one of the GMs of the Philadelphia Liberty in the ISFL, and I can't wait to see you win some awards tonight.
Great.
My name.
Hortle, go ahead.
My name is Hortle. I'm everybody's favorite frog user, and I'm just here to scream about Portland.
My name is Katarin22. I am one of the co-GMs for the London Royals, and I am here to wish everyone good luck, and I hope you all win the award that you want to win.
Hi, I'm Kotasa, co-GM for the Tijuana Luchadors, and I'm just here to hype people up.
I'm Russ Drives the Bus. I'm co-GM for the Ultimate Champion Minnesota Grey Ducks, and I'm hoping that we come away with some hardware and everybody has a good time.
All right, great. So in the interest of keeping this short and sweet and getting right to the awards, we will start with the returner of the year for the DSFL, and the nominees are Bradley Welch, wide receiver from London Royals, the Laz, cornerback from the Portland Pythons, Ivan Tostovich, wide receiver from the Dallas Bird Dogs, Reen Schwarzner, cornerback from the Tijuana Luchadors, and Chathakrius Smith IV, free safety from the Bondi Beach Buccaneers. So anyone have some great insights here into our nominees?
If by great insight you mean touchdowns are the new touchdowns, yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a recurring theme each year that touchdowns weigh heavily, so there's only one returner in this list that has a touchdown, and that is Bradley Welch of the London Royals.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it, but Ivan, I always like the ones that do both and do both well, and Tostovich definitely has solid numbers in both punt and kick returns. So wouldn't be a shock to me if he ended up with that, but touchdowns usually dominate.
The one thing that I noticed this year was there's a lot of good returners, but I feel like a lot of them were specialized and they only did kick returns or they only did punt returns, but there's a lot of people with versatility on this list, and I like that.
All right, well, let's see who our Season 29 DSFL Returner of the Year is. It is Bradley Welch from the London Royals. Congratulations.
Congrats, Dolphins. He's a great user, very active in our locker room, and I know he was really hoping he won this, so I'm happy for you.
Is this going to make the Netflix series? That's the real question.
Coming soon.
I think it has to. It has to.
I hope so. I love that.
I'm definitely expecting some media to come out of this award and really looking forward to reading it. All right, and moving on to the next award, we have the Punter of the Year nominees: Izuku Campbell from the Kansas City Coyotes, Toy Robot from Portland Pythons, Levi Tate from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Jean-Jacques Leroy from the Tijuana Luchadors, and JJ Jameson Jr. from the Dallas Bird Dogs.
I love some of these names, just saying that.
For sure. Levi Tate, all-time great.
Russ, you want to make a case for why Tate should be Punter of the Year?
Sure. I mean, she punted the most, well, not the most, but pretty close, which is nice. Most inside the 30, which is one of the biggest stats I think when people look at a punter, is how effective were the punts that they used, and pretty good there. Solid average, a good long. She's got a good leg on her, so I could see it happening, but it's real close.
One thing I will say is I know Jean-Jacques Leroy Canico was kind of down on the performance at the beginning of the season. I know there were a lot of missed kicks against like Portland and London, but really turned it around, and to see just getting a nomination for Punter of the Year is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's close between Leroy, Tate, and Campbell. I think Campbell has a slight edge with average, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go to any of those three, really.
I think Campbell's got a good edge.
Yeah, I'm going to say Campbell. I'm going to give it back to my DSFL team.
Yeah. I mean, very solid punting season. Very good.
All right, well, let's see who the winner is this year. And it is Izuku Campbell from the Kansas City Coyotes. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. I mean,
Congrats to
almost 4,000 punting yards.
Yeah,
that's
4,000 is
crazy.
definitely
the leg sore.
Yeah.
It's not like KC had a bad offense either, so that's impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. And we get to the kicker of the year, and we see some similar names here. So we have Leroy Campbell and Jay Jamison Jr. So let's hear some kicker stats.
When Crody and I were looking at votes for this one, Jameson stuck out just because, 51 extra points is A, ton of attempts, B, didn't miss any, and I think it's 11 points different from the second closest. So that's 4 field goals that they'd have to make up for that just extra point gap, which is pretty wild.
And I kind of spoke on this earlier, but Jean-Jacques Leroy kind of struggled to open the season, I think kicking 30%, but really able to turn it around at the end, which we were super happy to see.
Yeah, I think again, depends how the voters go, what metrics they're looking at, but continuing on what Kotasa said, Jean-Jacques Leroy had 4 out of 6 from 50 plus yards, which at the DSFL level is very impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, JJ is the only person who's done more from 50 yards.
Yeah.
And anyone
So
think that Campbell can get the double and do both kicker and punter of the year?
It's possible because average is there, and the extra points didn't miss any, which is not as much of a gimme in DSFL as you think, really, even in ISFL.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of missed extra points this season.
Between all the finalists here, they're all 100% on their extra points. So
well, not quite.
Almost, but
the three finalists.
The three on the
You're right.
You're right.
3 on the sheet.
But highest average as well, but lower volume, I guess. So it could be very tight. Could be Campbell, could be Jameson, could be Leroy. So I'm
going for Campbell. Campbell's getting the double.
No, I think it's going to be Jameson just because of volume.
All right, well, let's see how the votes came out. And we have a double.
Back.
Controversy.
Kicker
No,
of the year. Congratulations, Izuku Campbell again.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's always awesome to see someone win both.
We gotta come up with a special name. But if you win both.
Yeah, the double boot, something like that.
Yep.
Double boot. I like it.
All right. And moving to the next award, we're now into the defense awards. So your nominees for DSFL Safety of the Year are Miles Wepperham from the Norfolk Seawolves, Jacob Rasky from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Chat Hackrius Smith IV from the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, and Richard Mansher from the Dallas Bird Dogs.
I think I don't know you guys, but this was one of the hardest ballots to vote on, in my opinion. I feel like there were 3 really close candidates.
And the thing I thought was so interesting was they were all kind of played different stylistically. You had the big interception guys, and then you had like the big sack and tackle for the loss guys, which I thought was really cool, but also made it really, really hard for myself to vote on this.
Yeah, like building off what you said, Katasa, like Rask obviously has the 2 touchdowns, the 4 picks, 8 PDs. But then you have somebody like Mancher with 2 forced fumbles, 4 sacks, 2 blocked punts, which the fact that there are 2 safeties on here with 2 blocked punts each is insane. So this was difficult for us to vote.
I think that's probably the craziest stat out of all of them, is that 2 separate players got 2 blocked punts.
Yeah, I actually went to the index because I thought that was an error on the stat sheet, but no, that is 100% correct.
Yeah, well, I know that the old meme is touchdowns are the new touchdowns, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went the way of my boy Rask, but there are definitely plenty of options here. The only safety on the board is old Soldier, which is also something to think about. But yeah, I think it is very interesting that you've got sort of the box safeties and then more of the coverage guys. Very interesting how it'll play out. But I think Rask with 2 touchdowns, it's I wouldn't be shocked if that's where it went.
I would
In
tend
fact,
to agree.
I would be happy.
All right, well, let's see where the votes came into. And you will be happy, Russ. So
There you
congratulations, Jacob Rask of the Minnesota Grey Ducks.
Let's go, CLG. Good
Yeah.
stuff, man.
He had a great season.
All right, congratulations. And moving on to Cornerback of the Year, your S29 award nominees are Xavier Hawkins. That is a mistake, should be from the London Royals. The Laz from the Portland Pythons. Reen Schwarzer from the Tijuana Luchadors. Lip Gallagher from the Portland Pythons. And Siege Cameron from the Kansas City Coyotes.
Let's go, Portland. I definitely think that Portland's cornerback core had a really good season. We kind of struggled offensively, so it makes sense that both of them made it on here.
Yeah, I think Cameron, though, and I feel like Cameron had an incredible year last year as well, but those numbers are pretty wild. 5 forced fumbles, 5 picks, and 26 PDs, and 75 tackles, which is, I mean, tied for highest on the list. I don't know if it's highest among all corners, but it's up there for sure. So did it all, really.
The stat lines between Siege and Hawkins were really close. They both had insane seasons.
Yeah, for sure. And the block punt for Hawkins is always, you love to see it on there for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then it always kind of muddies the waters a little bit on how do you rank that versus some of the other stats, but it is certainly unique on the list.
I want to give it to Lip Gallagher just because of his first name, since that goes with Pat and I's Lip Chap and Lip Stash, the GMs in Philadelphia. But I think I got to give it to my KCC team again, give it to Siege Cameron.
Yeah, I think it's his to lose at this point. I do want a quick shout out, Reen Schwarz Bull. He had a great season last year, and I know it wasn't quite the same this year, but he has been a huge in the Tijuana locker room. And I know that doesn't help for awards, but I just want to give him a little love.
All right. Well, with that little bit of love, let's see who the voters loved. And it is Siege Cameron, cornerback from the Kansas City Coyotes. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Siege.
Yeah, fantastic season again.
KCC cleaning up.
Someone check his build. Must recreate him.
All right, and that brings us to the linebacker of the year for season 29 in the DSFL. And our nominees are Dexter Hall from Kansas City, Sheriff Woody from Tijuana, LeCarpetron Duke Marriott from Minnesota, and Elliot Horde from the Portland Pythons.
I mean, just starting off early, I've got to give it to Horde. 3 for 3 on 4 fumbles and recovering on 10 tackles for a loss. 9 sacks. He had a fantastic season.
Yeah, the numbers there are pretty insane. It's pretty wild to see like all of those negative plays for a linebacker, and then also some. I think he's got the most PDs on the list as well. So like also doing it in coverage, pretty
Yeah.
nuts.
I mean, he's got a
But,
couple less
yeah.
tackles, but the numbers aren't that huge in a gap. So
Shout out, I'll do Kotas's job right now. Shout out to Sheriff Woody for a good season and the only one with a tutty.
That
True.
week was pretty crazy. That I was about to get to it, but you cut me off.
Got him.
That touchdown came in a week where he did a lot of other stuff too, and that's on the performance one. But we'll get.
Yeah. Old Duke Marriott. This is a great rookie campaign, and I hope he builds on it for next season. But yeah, I think Horde is on a. I think he's on the MVP list, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him win the linebacker award.
All right, well, let's see if you will be shocked. And you will not. So here we
Okay.
go. Elliot Horde, linebacker from Portland Pythons. Congratulations.
Well deserved. He had a fantastic season.
yeah, absolutely killer season. I think he was our best player on defense.
That is a clean jersey swap, by the way, whoever did that.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the segue. We have Moosey to thank for all of the renders that you're going to see tonight on the awards stream. And thank you to Infinite MPG for all of the slides. So we'll say those names again as we end the stream in thanks, but absolutely really love to see the renders adding a lot here to the experience for our DSFL and ISFL awardees.
Yeah, I mean, look at those gloves. Sick.
Yeah. That's the player render I use, so kudos to them.
All right. And that brings us to Defensive Tackle, DT of the Year. And your nominees are Daniel O'Leary from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Amadeus Redding from the Bondi Beach Buccaneers, Will Smith from the London Royals, Carter Fox from the Portland Pythons, and I Love Hot Salads from the Minnesota Grey Ducks.
What a name!
I hate that name.
The boy
Did-
hot salads.
Speaking of hot salads, he had a fantastic season. I think he didn't have a ton of sacks, but the tackle for loss numbers were absolutely crazy.
He didn't have a ton of sacks, but he has the most on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mixing him up with somebody. Then I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, you were right to say he had a fantastic season because he did. The only thing I could really say is that he had a decent number less tackles than the others, but I think the other stuff kind of makes up for it. And two forced fumbles and a recover is solid, but 12 TFLs is pretty insane. Will Smith though, also not a bad season, but 10 TFLs to no sacks. That I think it should go the way of the salad.
Yeah,
It's just nice to see the D tackles get some love. They're the unsung heroes in the
Oh, yeah.
trenches.
They're just the bowling balls that people forget in the middle.
Shout out my meatball, my favorite meatball.
Someone's got to do it.
He knows who he is.
Okay, and with that inside joke, we will see who has won. And it is I Love Hot Salads from the
Good
Minnesota
lord.
Grey
Oh my
Ducks.
God,
their render.
That's
Lord,
beautiful.
Horrific.
That is
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Big ups to whoever drew that. Thank you.
Dude.
Thank
Well,
you for
have a
blessing
good-
my
I
eye.
hope you're having a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm never gonna eat
that's
vegetables
incredible.
again.
I hope everyone
That's fair.
appreciates the mini and the ducks around his belt area.
This is incredible work. I mean, we can just shut the stream down now, I think.
I think
This looks
there
like-
would be some really sad nominees here who want to know who won the next award. So we will have to move on, but Moosey, again, just thank you for this
Incredible.
beautiful work.
Bleach
of
your
art.
eyes quick and let's move on.
And so that brings us to Defensive End of the Year. And your nominees are Giles Merritt from the Tijuana Luchadors, Lucid Dreams from the London Royals, Amabacus Fitted from the Kansas City Coyotes, Will Stern from the Kansas City Coyotes, and Rocco Blade from the Portland Pythons.
Well, I want to give a shout out to my boy Giles. Big ups to him. I'm glad of what he was able to accomplish this season. But I think Lucid also had a really, really good season for the Royals there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm biased. Well, I am biased, but shout out to my co-GM. He had just an awesome season, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you can say he had a good season. I think you got to say it's pretty incredible.
As we said for other awards, I do feel it's Lucid's to lose, but
Yeah, we're really excited to have him come up into Philly next year. So it'd be great to send him off his DSFL career with an award here.
Fitted did have a very solid season as well. 3 forced fumbles, 3 recovers. That's very good. And then very similar numbers in TFLs and sacks to everyone else. So it's a great season for a lot of guys, but just Lucid had a baller season. So I wouldn't be shocked there. I'm going to say that a lot. Sorry.
you're good.
It's all right.
You're gonna have to shock me.
At some point, maybe we will, but not this time. So congratulations,
Hey.
Lucid Dreams.
Yay!
Defensive end of the year.
What a guy.
True.
Ring the bell, baby.
You want to just keep breaking Katarn's heart rate on stream?
Yeah, that's okay. Lucid, well deserved, buddy. You've had a killer season.
Fantastic. And now that is the end of the defensive awards, and we move into the offensive awards, and we will start with Hordle's favorite award, which is Offensive Lineman of the Year. And your nominees are Cheese Farley from the Kansas City Coyotes, Emperor Depengu from the Tijuana Luchadors, Madison Beer, Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Keen Lover from the London Royals.
O-line, best line. Just saying, there are no more awards after this. This is it.
True. One thing I found interesting was Lover and Farley actually have the same amount of pancakes and no sacks allowed. But there was a penalty difference between the two, though. So we'll see.
Yeah,
if
I'm
that
interested to
affects
see
it
if that swayed some people. Yeah,
Well,
I know that's eventually what we had to look at to separate them because that's really about all we can.
Yeah,
I mean
and,
they're exact same all the way through, except for that it's.
Shout out to Madison Beer, who only played 13 games and still made this list.
True.
That's pretty cool. And then Sil had a good season, just couldn't do it. But that's just kind of how the line of the year works, right? Pancakes.
Yeah, shout out to Sil, my ISFL GM, but also shout out to Lover, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, which is still one of my favorite memories in DSFL history.
Was like what 2 pancakes away from tying the record again, right? This year.
Yeah. Fun fact: a bot actually broke the record this year, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah. Human O-line, only ones that count here. And so let's see who won Offensive Lineman of the Year. And it does go to Cheese Farley, offensive line from the Kansas City Coyotes.
Shout out to Gurin. I know he was real salty when Beaver rightfully won the season 26 Offensive Lineman of the Year, but I'm glad that he can go out with one this year.
All right. And so next up, we have Tight End of the Year. And our awardees are Groku Muerto, Nick Olback, Buffalo Hunter, and D. Walt.
So I'm biased, and I'll get that out of the way right now, but Gronku, I don't know why it's Groku. He had a great season in Tijuana. He didn't have as many touchdowns as Nickelback, but he did have twice the pancakes, so we'll see if that's taken into consideration.
Yeah, this one was definitely interesting just because of those cake numbers. So him having half of the two other front runners, as far as I saw it, I do wonder how that'll play out because he did have significant more yardage to Hunter, but I wonder if the cakes get any love here.
I think it's got to be Muerto. I mean, he was a top prospect last year, and almost 1,000 yards, receiving, almost double-digit touchdowns. I think Edwards is his.
Shout out to Buffalo Hunter for having the most pancakes and also being one of my favorite draft picks ever.
D Walt was interesting too, just because such a low volume but a high average. Wonder if they had gotten the ball around to him more, if he could have snuck in here.
All right, well, congratulations to our nominees, and the winner is Gronku Muerto from the Tijuana Luchadors.
God, I love that render.
Is that Luke Wilson from the
It
Seahawks?
is.
I was gonna look at that flow.
Yeah, you can't deny the hair.
We were really hoping to get them this award last year. I think he had a really good season last year, but ultimately just didn't get him quite the yardage that we were hoping for. So we got him that this year, and his pancake number still stood up. So congratulations, buddy. Kez, we're real happy for you.
Fantastic. All right. And next we have the wide receiver of the year nominees, and they are Troy Abed from the Kansas City Coyotes, Mason Malone from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Calvin Hobbs from the Portland Pythons, and Vincent Sharpay Jr. from the Minnesota Grey Ducks. So Russ, why don't you kick us off, since I see 2 nominees from your team here on the wide receiver of the year board.
I mean, this is it brings a tear to my eye, because we have been in like a weird wide receiver purgatory for a hot minute. So it's lovely to finally see a couple guys up here. Malone, I mean, he really surpassed our expectations as far as I'm concerned. And Muford, old Vincent Sharpay. I mean, we had an insane 1-2 combo, and 3 other targets really that probably could have been on here, but touchdowns, it was interesting to see how those split out. We would have loved to see Malone get a couple more so he could maybe push for the award here. But I do think ultimately it's going to go to Abed, and for good reason, because he had his average was pretty incredible and did have the touchdown numbers to back it up. So happy to see my guys on here for sure.
I was going to say, I think that it'd be interesting to see what would happen, if that 1-2 punch wasn't there, if you guys just had one person there, how big are the numbers that you guys put up? I mean, they both had fantastic seasons, and you just gotta love to see that.
Yeah. I'm not complaining about it for sure.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, since they both now have an ultimate, I think they're happy to have split the targets if it meant that success.
That's certainly my hope. That is the hope.
All right, so I'm hearing that Troy Abed might be the favorite here. Let's see who won. And it is Troy Abed, wide receiver from the Kansas City Coyotes. Congratulations, and that starry uniform is amazing.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, I mean, they just had an awesome season. It was kind of like the best of both worlds in touchdowns and yardage, so super well deserved.
And average. I mean, the average there is really wild. Almost 20 yards a catch.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which is nuts.
All right, and then we have running back of the year, and our DSFL nominees are Kiara Teno from the London Royals, Noah Johns from the Portland Pythons, Miracle Whip from the Tijuana Luchadors, and John Huntsman from the Minnesota Grey Ducks.
Frank. Feed the Frank. That's our boy John Huntsman.
I think it's going to be interesting because you're really going to see efficiency versus volume here.
Agreed.
Huntsman definitely had a fantastic season, and obviously we like to run the ball in Tijuana, but Teno had just a fantastic season efficiency wise, averaging exactly 1 yard more per carry. I think the touchdowns are going to play a factor too, with 10 and 13. So we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be really. I think it's going to be really close between Teno and Huntsman. But I mean, I gotta say, I hope the Franc gets it.
Shout out to Johns too, who also had 5 yard to carry. You know,
Yeah.
just
John's
it's
had
just
a.
yeah.
You know,
Sorry,
the rushing attack in Portland was super deadly. I think they had 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah,
we did.
They
Both
did.
Baker and Johns within about 9 yards of each other in 2 TDs. It was a great 1-2 combination, other than a starter backup situation.
9 yards from each other, but like 50 carries between them.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
All right, well, let's see who won the Running Back of the Year award. And it is Kiara Tano, running back from the London Royals.
You know, people love efficiency.
Big congratulations to Takamori, Kiara Teno. Yeah. I'm not sure if they're watching right now, but I'm so happy they won this.
Fantastic. All right, and that brings us to Quarterback of the Year. And the nominees are Rainey Clark from the Norfolk Seawolves, Gimme Garoppolo Jr. from the Kansas City Coyotes, Ricky Stanzi from the I almost said Cowboys, Bird Dogs, Casimir Oles Jr. from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Is He Really Invisible from the Tijuana Luchadors. So let's hear some love for our Quarterback of the Year nominees.
You know, I'm sorry, you go.
Katasa.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think rushing plays a big factor because Rainey Clark and Is He Really Invisible both rush a lot, and so I want to see if that plays a role into this best quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, though, or Jimmy Garoppolo, however you want to say it, had one of the most efficient seasons. Obviously Casimir, super volume guy, but Jimmy, in terms of efficiency, was crazy.
Yeah, I think Gimme started the year something like 20-0 touchdown to interception ratio. Like, it was nuts. But yeah, going off what Kotasa said, I really do think each one of these guys is built a little differently than one another. You know, whether the rushing stats are going to play in, or if the voters went more with the prototypical pocket passers.
I think when we did the voting, we kind of approached it as like total yards to add in because it is a volume thing, but Oles had 4,000. I think he's only 4,000 yard passer on here and almost 4,100. Second highest percentage behind Clark, but like their total yards. So Clark's total yards was I think like 3,400 ish, something like that. So we looked at the rushing yards, but we factored it in with total touchdowns and the total yards and all that. And I think Oles had just an incredible season for us. And there were a couple aberration games where he threw some wild picks, but has 31 touchdowns. I don't think anyone else. I think the next closest was 25, which is a little bit of a gap there. And almost averaged a 100 QB rating for the season, which is pretty insane for DSFL.
All right, so our touchdowns king. The answer, we have Casimir Oles Jr. as Quarterback of the Year for Season 29 in the DSFL. Congratulations.
Yeah, very excited for him. I know he definitely wanted to win it, and I know at least I and he were both watching we were watching Gimme's interception count all season because we were very worried that was going to end up being the major difference, but I'm glad it worked out for us in that way.
Yeah, really just heck of a season.
And Offensive Rookie of the Year nominees, we have Mason Malone from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Vincent Sharpay Jr., also from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, Ricky Stanzi from the Dallas Bird Dogs, Madison Beer, also from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Kiara Tano from the London Royals.
I mean, this just makes my heart happy. I hope one of them comes away with it, but just seeing 3 Grey Ducks on the list is pretty great.
Yeah, great rookie class by you guys. Cool to see Madison Beer on there. With only 13 games played again, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
Always
think
love seeing
this
that.
one is definitely it's what I don't think Ricky got talked about yet, but also had a very good season. So a quarterback on this list is always kind of scary to see as any other skill position. But I think Tenno is definitely up there. I would put Mason Malone up here. If I were a betting man, but quarterback love is pretty strong in awards voting, I would say.
I
I'm
imagine
wondering
this
if all
ballot.
the Grey Ducks split the vote and Tano's gonna sneak through. Take it.
I like that scenario, Cody.
All right. Well, let's see. All right. Well, our offensive rookie of the year is indeed Tenno from the London Royals. Running back edges it out here for offensive rookie of the year. Congratulations.
When you win your positional award as a rookie,
Yeah.
there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to bring home rookie of the year as well.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. 100%.
The offense, no pun intended, ran through Tenno this season.
You intended that.
You
Only-
intended
only
it.
a
You
little.
told us you did. It's a solid achievement. It's a great season.
And now we go to defensive rookie of the year for the DSFL. And here are some familiar names we've heard already. And so we have Miles Weberon from the Norfolk Seawolves, Xavier Hawkins from the London Royals, Sheriff Woody from the Tijuana Luchadors, the Laz from the Portland Pythons, and Le Carpetron Duke Marriott from the Minnesota Grey Ducks. So I think it's really impressive that we've seen every single one of these rookies nominated for other awards earlier tonight. And so just an incredible class of defensive rookies and also offensive rookies that we just heard. So shout out to everyone who's on this list. It is a huge achievement. So anyone standing out here who you think might win it?
Unfortunately, I do think the only thing that separates a lot of these is the touchdown. Because if you look at it by their position and what they had to do, Woody may not have as many PDs as a cornerback, but he had an incredible season for a linebacker. So it's a tough one.
All right. Well,
But Hawkins could get it too. I could see that.
let's see. And it goes to Le Carpetron Duke Marriott. From
All
the
right,
Minnesota
well,
Grey Ducks.
that's the best that could have happened. Sweet. We'll take
Yeah.
that.
He had a
That
great
render.
season. Amazing render. I love
Duke is great. He's been so excited and so great in the locker room, and he's been earning and doing all the right stuff. And I'm so happy he won this award. And really, I mean, his stats were great. And I think if you look at him and Woody, I mean, the turnovers are there, and I think really I'm just happy he won it.
I definitely think it came down to the sacks and tackles for a loss. I think Duke just pulls out because he has more negative plays against the other team for him.
Yeah, and I think turnovers he's got either are they equal? I don't know.
He's got one more fumble and one less interception.
So okay, so they're about even there. Yeah. So I mean, very happy for Duke, and I'm almost certain he's watching. So get hyped, fella.
Great. All right. And Offensive Performance of the Year. The nominees are John Huntsman in Week 6, Troy Abed in Week 6, Kiara Tenno in Week 3, Rainey Clark in Week 1, and Casimir Oles Jr. in Week 4.
There are some crazy performances on this list.
I was about to say.
I feel like this is always the hardest one.
I think 3 of them came against Tijuana, so I wasn't super stoked on that.
Yeah, some of these stat lines are insane. Huntsman had 4 touchdowns, I think. Tenno had 3. Rainey, I think, had 5 total. Oles had 5 passing, and
Mhm.
Abed had like 4 receptions for 2 touchdowns and like 140 yards. Like it's just, I feel like you can't go wrong with this.
160, 163.
I think the thing that might put Troy Abed at risk is 10 targets on those 5 catches, which might come back to bite him here. But I mean, that was still a crazy game. He killed us. That was not fun.
Yeah, looking at these was just super hard because I mean, Huntsman volume there I think probably hurts him in this case. But four touchdowns, 200 yards for a running back is fantastic. Olds had 5 TDs, which again, I mean, he's not running the ball, but 400 yards, 5 touchdowns is pretty great. He threw for a first down every time he threw the ball.
Yeah, especially in the,
Wow.
the DSFL, that's just nuts.
I think the only thing that might hurt
Clark
him is
very
pick.
similar. Yeah, I think that's what separated for us, and I'm sure some of the other voters. But I do want to shout out Tenno here because, I mean, it's 1 less touchdown than Frank's game, slightly more yards, but 10 less carries. Averaged 9.3 yards a carry as a running back on 24, which is absolutely just
Nuts.
bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
let's-
I'm not going to tell you I'm shocked here because I think anybody could win it.
I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
And it goes to Tenno in week 3. So that high efficiency was something that the voters really appreciated this year. Congratulations.
A hat
Yeah,
trick.
cleaning up. What a season.
And our defensive performance of the year nominees are Amabacus Fitted, Jacob Rask, Lucid Dreams, Savior Hawkins, and Sheriff Woody. Another great set of performances here.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Sheriff Woody because I think he did literally everything that game. Had a bunch of tackles, had a sack, forced fumble, fumble recovery, pick, and a touchdown, which is just kind of like an all-around game. You can't really ask for much more than that.
I don't think you need to say much more. I think it's going to be Sheriff Woody's to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, the other games are good too. There's a couple multi-sack games in here.
Yeah, but like I said, TDs are the new TD.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob Rask had a TD too, so he can steal
he
it.
had a TD and 2 picks. But
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Another multi-pick game for Hawkins as well.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But yeah, I
shout out
think
to Xavier.
yeah, I think Woody just had so many numbers and a touchdown, so I think it can go there safely.
All right. Well,
Yeah, let's just pump up Tom Hanks' ego here. Let's go.
I know that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Well,
Oh boy.
What a render! Yo, that's great. I like the
So-
color
Yeah.
edit on that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fire.
Congratulations, Sheriff Woody, for defensive performance of the year for your week 10 in S29.
How many
DSFL.
voters did he have to pressure to get this award?
Yeah, really.
As
Everybody
commissioner, it's like,
screenshot your DMs. Screenshot your DMs before he gets in there.
I'm
Big
just
no
kidding, Tom
investigation.
Hanks. I love you.
All right, and now we get to our 2 categories of user awards. First up are General Managers of the Year, and your nominees are Frazzle14 and Wadamus from Kansas City, Rotspoa and Zoot TX from the Dallas Bird Dogs, Russ Drives the Bus and Crody Man from the Minnesota Grey Ducks, and Guitar Master 116 and Kotasa from the Tijuana Luchadors.
I think that every single one of these teams deserves to be on the list, and I think anyone who wins it won't be surprising. They all had fantastic seasons. They've all put out great users this year and had a great locker room presence. I just think everybody's fantastic. One thing that I thought was interesting is that half the GMs on this list are no longer GMing. They step down at the end of the season, which I thought was interesting.
Gotta go out while you're on top, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
Yeah, except for Hordle.
Okay.
I'm calling you straight up, buddy.
All right.
Wait, are you saying I have to step down?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Boo.
All right. And with that, we're clearly devolving. So we're going to just go ahead and announce the general managers of the year for S29. And they are Guitar Master 116 and Kotasa. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
I
Good job.
just want to say on his behalf, well, he was really, I know he was really hoping that we'd be able to get this. I'm obviously super happy, but none of this is possible without the great people that we brought into the locker room. I think in the past 2 drafts, we've lost one person to item, and they're really the people who make doing this job worth it at the end of the day. You know, we're a developmental league, and having a great season was great, but that's really what makes it worth it.
Congratulations.
Also, big ups to Guitar Master. I'm gonna miss that guy. I hope he's having a lot of fun on his trip.
Fantastic. And so now we have Offensive Player of the Year. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to read out the teams, but I'll read out the names. So Gimme Garoppolo Jr., Kiara Tano, John Huntsman, Troy Abed, and Casimir Oles Jr.
You know, I really think it's a, no offense to Tano, obviously has brought home 2 awards already, so it wouldn't shock me to see a third. I think it's probably a 3-way tie between Troy, Huntsman, and Casimir. It really depends on what your definition of Offensive Player of the Year is.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, Jimmy also has a great case. 25-5 is fantastic. Great efficiency, but Casimir just had the volume. So when it comes to quarterbacks, I think I lean slightly more towards him.
There's always like a weird calculus that happens with offensive player and MVP. So I'm actually very interested to see how this goes. I could see maybe Oles getting votes for MVP and not for offensive player, and so maybe Jimmy can get offensive player. That could be a sneaky pick here, but I mean, it wouldn't be upsetting because he did have a fantastic season, and so did Huntsman. Really, everybody on here did.
Yeah, I don't think you can discount really anybody from this list.
So let's see who won Offensive Player of the Year for the DSFL. And it is Troy Abed, wide receiver from the Kansas City Coyotes. Congratulations.
Well deserved. I think you can look at his season and definitely say, yeah, that's Offensive Player of the Year material right there. Was dominant all year long.
And now we get to Defensive Player of the Year. And your nominees are Siege Cameron, Elliot Horde, LeCarpetron Duke Marriott, and Lucid Dreams.
I mean, I've just got to shout out Horde again. 89 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, and perfect fumble recoveries, and then 9 sacks. He had, such a great season. I definitely think this is his to win.
I don't really think you can discount anybody on this list. I think
I look at Siege. I look at Cameron again, and just the numbers there are so crazy that I mean. He, as a corner, he only had like 14 less tackles than a linebacker, which is, I think, pretty sick.
And it was good catch rate too. It's not like he was giving up a lot of catches. I'd have to look at the exact number he gave up, but I'm pretty sure he had a positive support score on the season, which is really hard to do.
Definitely happy to see Duke Marriott on here as well. That's a great nom, and he really did have a solid season. Lots of negative plays.
Yeah, I think you guys said it, but I think it depends on what the voters swing for. There's different positions, obviously, and different positions get different stats, so it depends how heavily they weight everything, but we'll see.
And the award goes to Siege Cameron. Congratulations for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, great season.
Well, it's from one cornerback to another. That was a great season.
I agree. Better than mine.
And now we get Most Dedicated Member. And for the DSFL, our nominees are Matt Bake 12, Flex, Skindog 44, JY 75, and DP 420 or Parm.
Crazy stack too, which is really cool to see. I know all these guys have been doing a lot of stuff in their respective areas. Jay's been putting out huge media, just put out like this 17,000 word media post. Parm, I obviously work with on the sim team. IO, I know, does the videos. So a lot of these people do a lot of cool things. IO is Stindog, sorry.
This is one of my
Yeah.
favorite awards just because it's incredible to see. I'm almost positive all of these are new create rookies this year.
Yes.
And really just like coming into the league and immediately making their presence known, really helping to make the league a more welcoming and functioning place for everyone. And that's just fantastic. And I think every single one of these nominees, thank you for everything that you're doing for the league. Let's see what the voters had to say for MDM, Most Dedicated Member. And this goes to DP420 or Parm of the London Royals. Congratulations.
Heck yeah. Congrats, Parm. Yeah, Parm, it's funny. I think we drafted Parm and then within like a day he had a league job or something. I was shocked.
I absolutely love Parm. I got him off of waivers last season. We just wanted to give him a home, and he has quickly become one of my favorite people in the league. And he's just doing really well. And to see him come this far is great.
Fantastic. And our, I believe, final DSFL award for season 29 is Most Valuable Player. And your nominees are Casimir Oles Jr., John Huntsman, Kiara Tano, and Troy Abed.
They just all had phenomenal seasons, honestly.
Yeah, we've been talking about them this entire stream. I mean, any of them are deserving of the award. So
For sure.
it depends what the voters pick.
Troy obviously winning Offensive Player of the Year means he didn't get this, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him in second place as a runner-up.
And the winner is Casimir Oles Jr. Congratulations for being the season 29 DSFL MVP.
Yeah.
Congrats to Oles.
Good
When you
old
lead a-
Oles.
When you
Good
lead a
old
team to
Oles.
the Ultimate Mini, kind of have to be MVP, but not to discount his a fantastic season he had. Again, well deserved.
Yeah. Great season. Very happy.
Chicago's got a good pick there.
All right, and now we're moving from the DSFL to the ISFL. And so we will start with Returner of the Year, and your nominees are Chizuru Ichinose from the Sarasota Sailfish, Colt Mendoza from the New York Silverbacks, Joshua Campbell from the San Jose Sabercats, Flash Panda from the Philadelphia Liberty, and Jackson Kingston from the New York Silverbacks.
Okay, I know this is going to sound biased, like we said before, but it's got to be Flash Panda. I mean, he had the best returning season of all these guys. He had over 1,000 yards in return between kicks and punts. He had a punt return touchdown on this year, which is always a good sign that he's going to win this award. So, Junie's great in our locker room. Love him. Give him the award.
Flash Panda did have a really good season. I also want to give a little bit of love to Chizuru Ichinose or Frost. Had a really solid season for the Sarasota Sailfish, and definitely put up some stats, I think, to compete with Flash Panda here in the award. But really, all of these nominees had some great seasons. I think it's pretty incredible to see both of the returners from the New York Silverbacks here on the ballot together with Jackson Kingston and Colt Mendoza. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's rare.
Campbell had a pretty solid season too. He had 950 yards, it looks like, and it is interesting to see. I think this is the most return touchdowns I've seen on a ballot before. I think everyone except for Panda had a return or kick return touchdown, and Panda had a punt return touchdown. That's pretty wild, actually. But Campbell also had, I think, the highest or the third highest average.
all right. Well, let's see how the votes swung here. And the winner of Returner of the Year for Season 29 is Chizuru Ichinose.
Rigged.
Frost sucks the map. Moving on.
There
Frost
we go.
sucks.
Someone had to say it.
And
I
now
like
we
Frost.
have Punter of the Year nominees. And they are Sam's sidekick of the Chicago Butchers, Dallas Dole of the Orange County Otters, Matthew McDermott, Maddie from the San Jose Sabercats, Leo Bloomfield from the Austin Copperheads, and Taipan Pete from the New Orleans Second Line.
I think
I
it's
gotta give it.
close.
Oh,
Go ahead, Royal.
I was just gonna say I gotta give a shout out to Sidekick. They are my SHL Juniors team GM, and they're awesome.
I think it's got to be Bloomfield here. I mean, Austin didn't have the best year, a lot of close games, but he was booting the ball a lot for them. He's got over 4. He almost had 100 punts this year, which is ridiculous for a team. Over 4,000 punt yards.
Yeah, huge volume edge to Bloomfield. I do think Maddie McDermott had a really incredible season in terms of the number of punts inside the 20. And
his average is a big boy. He
Yeah,
boots that thing.
he punts long, and he still somehow managed to not get them all to be touchbacks. So, so there is something.
It's
to
that
be
big
said.
brain. And he's got the longest punt, I think. 71 yards, which is wild.
All right, well, let's see how the voters voted here. And it does go to Matthew McDermott. Congratulations on being punter of the year.
Right?
Let's go. It's averages, man. It's a law of averages. And I mean, he had 69 punts on the season, so change your attitude.
Nice. All right, and that brings us to Kicker of the Year, and the nominees are Jacob Small from the Sarasota Sailfish, Cade York from the Arizona Outlaws, Taipan Pete, New Orleans Second Line, Lux Opal from the Colorado Yeti, and Jake Benkick from the Philadelphia Liberty.
Kicker's always a tough one to figure out, like we saw in the DSFL. Everyone, I mean, the extra points are always all 100% for the most part. Everyone's average is about the same. Got a few over 90s. I usually look at anything over 40 and more, which all these guys had quite a bit here. Obviously, I'm going to root for Philly Boy Thanos here, but we'll see what happens.
Cade York, it's 6 of 7 from beyond 50, but he did miss an extra point, so I'm curious if that hurts his case.
Yeah, same. I think for Small, who he's the only other one I think on the list that missed an extra point. But out of 52 attempts, I mean, you're bound to miss one. Just a law of numbers.
Yep.
But I think most made field goals as well, highest on the list there. Very interesting to see if they go with efficiency or numbers here.
Yeah, and just so that Cody doesn't seem too biased here, I do also want to point out that Fenkick was 4 for 4 on 50-plus field goals, which I just think is insane. So didn't kick that many, but made every single one that he attempted.
Let's just say he was our offense in quite a few games.
So
I mean, shout out Pete. Taipan Pete made 7 of 9
Exactly,
from 50.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. To even kick that many from there is wild.
Anyone here can win this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and the votes go to Taipan Pete from New Orleans Second Line.
I've
Heck
never
yeah.
seen
What is that
render before.
render?
What? What is that? I've never seen that before.
It's it's from a TV show. If you guys
Oh,
know,
I thought it was real life.
no, I think Mac. Oh my god. Mac Daddy of the Baltimore Hawks, his Discord profile picture is from the same TV show, which I wish I knew the name right now, but I can't.
Yeah, great job, Taipan Pete. Congratulations for Kicker of the Year. This is a fantastic season for you. And we go to Safety of the Year, and your nominees are Jeremiah Zelos of the Baltimore Hawks, Joel Drake of the Colorado Yeti, Damian Blackfire of the Chicago Butchers, Brendan Lanier from the Sarasota Sailfish, and Cuco Clemente of the Sarasota Sailfish. I'm going to start because there are 2 sailfish on this ballot. And we just had an amazing season for our safeties this year. I think JD signed with us just this past season as a free agent and just immediately made his presence known on the defensive side, and it has just been great to have him as a teammate. I do think Kuko, it's his award to lose. That's the first time I get to say it tonight. He just had 7 interceptions, which I believe led the league in interceptions. So not just safeties, but all defensive players, which I think is pretty incredible from the safety position.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people on here. Give a little shout out to Zelos here, Hall Monitor. I mean, he had a good season, but I wonder if the numbers will inflated due to Baltimore's less than stellar season.
I think shout out goes to whoever the Chicago awards rep was for somehow managing to get Blackfire on here. Thunder Titan, very stinky.
I love Joel Drake. He's my teammate and had a phenomenal season, but I do think this is Kuko's award to lose.
Yeah, I think it's one of the sailfish for sure.
All right, well, let's see. And it does go to Kuko Clemente. Congratulations, Billy, for Safety of the Year. We are so excited to see this award land in Sarasota.
Yeah, just insane season.
And now we move to Quarterback of the Year, and your nominees are Albert Rushman of the Colorado Yeti, Yay Katarn, Andrew Witten, the New Orleans second line, Brandon Booker of the Orange County Otters, Colt Mendoza of the New York Silverbacks, and Swantavius Jones from the Berlin Fire Salamanders.
Somewhere along the line,
do not know on this one. Like, everyone had such great seasons, and they're all pretty similar stat lines on this one. I could not, like, I had a hard time deciding who I would vote for on this one.
somewhere along the way, the PD numbers got just absolutely outrageous. I know we added some games, but still, to get to 40 PDs in a season is just like, that's so wild to me.
And that's Swantavius Jones for those who are listening with 40 PDs. I think the next highest was 33 for Mendoza. And
I had 36.
36 for
36 for all Rushman. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But I think touchdowns, this will be interesting because there are touchdowns here. For Witten, he had 2 touchdowns, but I think it could go to Witten ultimately because of the touchdowns and then also the turnovers. 2 forced fumbles and recovers and 5 picks. And I think tackle leader on the list as well with over 100 for a corner, which is insane.
You'll see it in defensive performance of the year, but I think Witten had an insane game with like 3 picks and a touchdown or something, which just bonkers. So I think he might go away with this one.
All right, well, let's see. And he does. So congratulations, Colt. Oh, no, sorry. This is Colt Mendoza from the New York Silverbacks.
Oh.
Wow.
Rigged.
We didn't talk much about Ultimus champion.
Mojo, Steve, Harvey, JoJo.
What they look at here, I guess, catch percentage maybe.
Yeah, really low catch percentage, third highest in PDs, with a sack, and
a ton of forced fumbles.
Yeah, lots of forced fumbles.
So really creating a lot of turnover opportunities here for New York, and a really great season and stats here for Mendoza. So congratulations.
Congrats, Steg. Well deserved.
It's a good list.
And your nominees for Linebacker of the Year are Joseph Joestar from the Orange County Otters, Darrell DeVille from the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Jack Banks from the New York Silverbacks, Tyler Montaigne from the Austin Copperheads, and Legacy Perfect from the Arizona Outlaws.
This award's almost always based off sacks, so it's going to be DeVille. I mean, I have to say it's going to be him.
Yeah, there's a big gap there, but there are a lot of turnovers. A lot of turnovers for these guys. Perfect had 6 forced fumbles, 2 recovers, 3 picks, which is a ton. Montaigne had 4 forced fumbles, 3 recovers, 3 picks, 2 safeties, a defensive touchdown.
I was about to
There are a lot of
safeties.
stats.
I think Montaigne had a really good season. Slightly lower on the sack numbers, but 3 interceptions and a lot of scoring. So 2 safeties and 1 defensive touchdown. Definitely put up the most defensive points of anyone else here on the list.
Yeah, and is still relatively close in sacks to DeVille.
Yeah. So a lot of front runners here. I think I could easily see votes going to, I mean, all of these names, but particularly Montaigne and Burfict and DeVille here.
Let's see.
And it goes to Tyler Montaigne, linebacker of the year from the Austin Copperheads. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Love to see it.
Austin's linebacking core as a whole, if you look at their TPE, is just nuts. But very well deserved for Montaigne.
And that brings us to Defensive Tackle of the Year. And the nominees are Leon McDavid from New York Silverbacks, Owen Isaac from Copperheads, Big Eddie Forever Yeti from not the Yeti, but actually the Honolulu Hahalua, Honky Tonk Haywood from the Philadelphia Liberty, and Chuck Roth from the Arizona Outlaws.
I'll speak here since Honky Tonk's on there. His number of tackles was insane this year. I mean, he basically doubled up on a few of the nominees here. For a defensive tackle, 80 tackles is crazy. A couple sacks and double-digit tackles for loss. It's got to be Honky Tonk.
So we all know that this award often goes to Big Ed here, and Big Ed put up some really impressive numbers again, led the nominations for sacks. One of the things that we did take into account when we were voting was that Big Ed also had a ton of penalties. 7 penalties for almost 100 penalty yards on the season. So that was a bit of a negative for us, and so we had...
Yeah, really, Big Ed, more like Big Oof.
We really appreciated some of the cleaner players and stats here being put up by Haywood and Isaac and McDavid.
I'm trying to figure out how Haywood gets to 80 tackles as a DT. That's absolutely insane.
The big boy, he does what he wants.
It's a beautiful season.
Well, let's see where and Big Ed pulls it out again. So, your defensive tackle of the year is Big Eddie Forever Yeti.
Oh, if you want to look up Sim Blessed in the dictionary, you will find Big Eddie Forever Yeti.
And next up, we have Defensive End of the Year, and your nominees are Brick Van Sanzo from New York, Leonard Taylor from the Yellowknife Wraiths, Etrigan T. Slayer from the Baltimore Hawks, Emmanuel Blackstone from the Colorado Yeti, and Demon Jackson from the Sarasota Sailfish.
I feel like Blackstone has been on an awards ballot for as long as I've been in the league. That name pops up all the time. He is an incredible player. Second most tackles here, 13 sacks. I mean, wow.
I do think Leonard Taylor had an incredible season at defensive end for the Yellowknife. 15 sacks and 2 safeties on the season, in addition having 4 forced fumbles. So really creating a lot of dynamic defensive plays for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
two players through 2 safeties, which is, it's so rare to see, and we've got 2 guys on this list with 2 safeties in Taylor and Slayer.
Yeah.
All right, and the award goes to Leonard Taylor, DE from the Yellowknife Wraiths. Congratulations on a fantastic season in the ISFL.
Congrats to TJ.
And next we go to Offensive Lineman of the Year. And your nominees are Matt Krause from Berlin, Alexander Franklin, our very own Hortle from Philadelphia Liberty, Mo Mamba Magic from the Chicago Butchers, Jaja Ding Dong from the San Jose Sabercats, and Bruce Buckley from the Yellowknife Wraiths.
Play
Hype
ya
yourself,
ding
Portal.
dong.
Not to
Hype
be
yourself up,
biased, but
Portal.
O-line best line. I'm not gonna hype myself up. Jaja deserves this. I have been watching us all season, and I could not get ahead of him at any point. There's no way he doesn't win this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just-
I hope he wins as my GM and favorite person, but I think the one sack allowed is going to be the difference here between him and Magic.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah, these guys were wrecking defensive lines like AC wrecked Twitter.
All right, and on that
Yes.
note, your O-line of the year is Mo Mamba Magic. So yeah, Russ, I think you were right here that the 0 sacks allowed with 133 pancakes, I think
Yeah.
really made the difference there.
Incredible season. Shout out Voiceless. Good guy.
And that brings us to our tight end of the year nominees, and they are Z Rex from the Yellowknife Wraiths, Heath Evans from Orange County Otters, James Angler from the Sarasota Sailfish, James Lewandowski for San Jose Sabercats, and Darren Palma from the Arizona Outlaws. Oh, sorry. Talk about them. I'll start.
I didn't see who it was.
I'll start with the homer, which is James Angler from Sarasota. Just, I believe he was tight end of the year last year, just continuing to have incredible stats in that position. Huge number of receptions, definitely leading the nominees here in receptions with a really high catch percentage of 70%, which is just incredible.
Imagine allowing 2 sacks, though. Couldn't be Lewandowski. 51 cakes, no sacks allowed. That's tight end power.
I kind of like Z-Rex as a kind of underdog candidate. Again, not as many yards as Angler, but the same amount of touchdowns and 60 pancakes with no sacks allowed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think. Yep.
It's
Agree.
between Rex and Angler, I would think.
And I think that it's a really hard for the voters because I think Angler is very clearly more of a receiving tight end, and Rex has a little bit more to play here with the pancakes numbers and 0 sacks allowed in the run game, and it's just sort of where the voters put their value. And the winner is James Angler, tight end from Sarasota.
There
Go
you go.
Fish.
Yeah, he won me.
Congrats to
He won me fantasy this year for sure.
You-
He was a big
Me
factor.
fantasy this year too.
Well, when you win the whole league, I mean, take notes, people.
Okay, Cody.
Well,
All right.
I feel
And-
emboldened.
And wide receiver of the year nominees, we have William Lim from the Colorado Yeti, Kaman Skiep from Berlin Fire Salamanders, Shredarius Javathan from the Sarasota Sailfish, Kai Sakura from Yellowknife, and Mark Walker, also from the Yellowknife Wraiths.
Mark
What
Walker
this-
was like so. He was such a out of nowhere guy this year. I mean, every game he had a stat line. You know, he had like 1 touchdown almost on average every game, putting up 100 yards almost every game. He was just someone who didn't really talk about preseason or anything. He came out of nowhere.
And had a really high
And to have him as
efficiency.
the second best. And to have him as the second best receiver on a team is insane. Because Kai out here with 1,800 yards. I mean, looking at this list, you've got William Lim who has 1926, which is just insane. That tells me that we're probably going to see a 2,000-yard season soon from a receiver, which I mean, yikes. But Kai, I mean, 15 touchdowns. I think Sakura probably won a lot of people fantasy this year as well.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty incredible to see a number of these players that are sneaking in here as sort of the wide receiver 2 in both Mark Walker and I believe Kaman Skiep, and still putting up incredible numbers of receptions and yards. So
Yeah.
The winner for wide receiver of the year is Kai Sakura for the Yellowknife Wraiths. Congratulations, stellar season out there.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised there.
Darkness probably sleeping right now, but yep, that's an incredible season.
And that brings us to running back of the year. And your nominees are Jamar Laxon from San Jose, Danny King Jr. from the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Richard Gilbert from Colorado Yeti, Goat Tank from Orange County, and Tatsu Nakamura from the Arizona Outlaws.
I mean, this award, it's got to be Nakamura for sure. Last year's MVP. Pretty much keeping it up in season 29, running all over everyone. Almost got Arizona to the Ultimates, but just fell short.
22 total touchdowns. That's insane.
And
Shout
I
out
think
to Gilbert. Oh, go ahead, Mojo.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, just finishing up on Nakamura, I think it's pretty hard to see others edging him out here, although we have some great other nominees here, but just higher volume, but still extremely efficient with that volume, averaging 4.8 yards per carry.
Yeah, 2,000 all-purpose yards. That's crazy.
I was gonna say, shout out to Gilbert for having 17 touchdowns, only 211 carries. The yardage wasn't, there I guess compared to some guys, but that's just nuts for the touchdown to carry ratio.
Yeah, red zone
Yeah,
threat for sure.
Laxon as a dual threat was fantastic for us this year too. 818 receiving yards to go with 900 rushing yards. He had a very good year.
Yeah. So the winner is Tatsu Nakamura. Congratulations on running back of the year.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see that name a few more times tonight.
I have a feeling. And that brings us to quarterback of the year, and your nominees are Mike Boss Jr. from the Sarasota Sailfish, Suleiman Ramza from Orange County Otters, Nick Capercolin from the Berlin Fire Salamanders, Charlemagne Cortez from the Arizona Outlaws, and Colby Jack from Yellowknife Wraiths.
In the interest of time, I don't know how you give this one to anyone other than Colby.
Yeah.
That volume is insane, but I mean, just the numbers there are crazy. 5,700. I wonder how close that is to the record, if it's not the record. And then the touchdown to INT ratio, just absolutely astonishing. 44-13, protected the ball. Very good.
Yeah, he's up on top, and then I'd say Capricorn's kind of a close second, but it's got to be Jack.
Yeah.
And
The yardage is just nuts.
it is Jack. So congratulations, Colby Jack, for quarterback of the year.
Congrats.
Yeah. Awesome season.
And the nominations for Offensive Breakout Player of the Year are... Come on, Skip! Berlin.
Capricorn takes a step, looks downfield, throws downfield. He's got come on, Skip. He's got the separation, but doesn't have the speed, and he's gonna be into the end zone. Touchdown, Berlin. 23-13.
Mark Walker, Yellowknife.
Colby Jack takes a step, throws immediately downfield to a wide open Mark Walker, and he's gonna go uncontested for 75 yards into the end zone. 13-17.
Mike Rochburns, New Orleans.
12 yards out, Rochburns takes a hand up to the right, cuts left immediately, and is going to gap into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. 10-0.
Alexander Franklin, Philadelphia.
Jackson takes the hand up, runs to the right behind the big man, Alexander Franklin, for a 1-yard touchdown to tie the game.
Sam Howitzer, New York.
Much time left here in the game, only a minute 42. Howitzer takes a snap, rolls through his right, throws down the field, and is just out of the outstretched hands of Peter Patterson. And Jackson Kingston's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, New York, and they are a 2-point conversion away from tying this ball game.
All right. So that is the first of a couple of videos that we are going to see made by Russ Fan for the awards tonight. So thank you so much for putting in all of that work. I think that does a lot to already introduce our Offensive Breakout Player of the Year nominees, but any other tidbits, shout outs we want to add here before we announce the winner?
Like I said before, Mark Walker, I thought came out of nowhere. It wasn't really up on anyone's boards or anything like that in fantasy draft, and he had a great season. Similar with Come On Skip. He had a breakout year, but I want to give it to my boy Hordle here. O-line, give him some love.
I'd agree with that. I like Hoydle here.
You guys are too sweet.
Yeah, I mean, reduce the number of sacks allowed and almost doubled the number of pancakes from last season is really incredible. I do have to say that Sam Howitzer, quarterback for New York, leading them to the Ultimates this year, really went from 15 touchdowns to 31 on the year. Interceptions also increased with that, but really had a fantastic season for them. So, your offensive breakout player of the year is Come On Skip from the Berlin Fire Salamanders. Congratulations.
Deserve it. That's a deserved award, yeah. Doubled up on touchdowns, 1,500 yards. Great season.
Yeah, efficiency for sort of yards per catch really increased as well. So again, just incredible performance this season and really bringing it forward.
And the nominations for Defensive Breakout Player of the Year are Swantavius Jones, Berlin Fire Salamanders.
Boss Jr. takes a snap, rolls to his left, throws down the field. It's going to be intercepted! Picked off by Swantavius Jones! And he's going to return this back down to the 20-yard line before he's brought down. Berlin's got the football.
Bender Rodriguez, Orange County Otters.
Christ Jr. takes a snap, and he's going to be brought down almost immediately by Bender Rodriguez. He lost the football, and Rodriguez dives on it. Orange County football!
Honky Tonk Hayward, Philadelphia Liberty.
Itchy Nose gets the handoff, and he's absolutely crushed by Honky Tonk Haywood. And the football is going to be in the hands of the big man. Stumbles for about 10 yards. Philadelphia football.
Tyler Montaigne, Austin Copperheads.
Christ Jr. takes a snap, and Montaigne on the blitz is all over him. He's brought down for a safety.
Leonard Taylor of the Yellowknife Raiders.
After takes the snap, he's going to step back. He's got pressure to his right side. He's set. Brought down by Leonard Taylor, and that's going to result in a safety for the Yellowknife Raiders.
All right, so some great defensive breakout players of the year on our ballot today. I do have to say, Russ, thanks for the video, but why is there so much fish hate? All of these great plays are coming against the sailfish or the hahalua. But I'll forgive it.
Shout out, gonna give my fellow cornerback some love. Swanty went from 6 PDs in S28 to 40 PDs in S29. That's nuts.
Yeah, for players from last season to this season, Swanty, Honky Tonk, and Leonard Taylor, just their stats exploded for season 28. Like, the difference between the two seasons for all those guys is insane.
Yeah, I think Honky Tonk has a great chance at this. I would say there are definitely, a few guys that have a great shot. Shout out to Rodriguez as well. This one's always tough for second-year guys because it's the question of, is it natural progression or a breakout? But he had a fantastic season this year, so I want to give him a little love as well.
And I will say Montaigne had a somewhat similar season to 28 in terms of tackles, but a lot more tackles for a loss, sacks, and forced fumbles and interceptions, passes deflected. So, I think, their tackling numbers were about the same, but they really made those tackles count, causing turnovers, negative plays, and scoring plays in a way that they didn't in S28. So I think that's one of the reasons they're on this ballot and really worthy of some love here. All right, and your defensive breakout player of the year is Honky Tonk Haywood from the Philadelphia Liberty.
Hey.
Yeah, very deserved. Honky Tonk. I love him. He's great player, great user. Ring the bell, baby.
Yeah, great improvement. Even if you just look at the tackles and don't look at anything else, his previous high was 47, and this year, like we said, to get 80 is just absolutely astonishing. And then adding 11 TFLs, that's incredible work.
Yeah, he really shored up our D line this season. I hope it continues into next year.
And now, the nominations for Offensive Rookie of the Year are Brendan Prince, New York.
Howitzer takes the snap, rolls to his left, throws down the field, is going to find a wide open Brandon Prince. His wheel route found him wide open, and New York's going to take a 31-24 lead. 4 yards out, snap, spot, kick is up, it's long enough, and it is good! 54 yards, the longest kick in Kid York's professional career. Mike Moss Jr. takes the football, rolls to his right, throws down the field. He's going to find an open Salim Spence, and I think he's going to outrun this entire Colorado secondary. He's going to go in for a touchdown. Sarasota's only down by 2. Dante King gets the handoff. He's going to run it right up the middle, and with some fantastic blocking, King is going to go all the way into the end zone. Baltimore ties us up at 7. 5 yards out, Watts gets the handoff. He's going to run right behind Maximus along the offensive line. He bulldozed 2 defenders to allow Watts to run into the end zone.
Some fantastic Offensive Rookie of the Year nominees here. I think it's really great to see all of the positional variety this year in the Offensive Rookie of the Year. We have Cade York at kicker, and Maximus at O-line, and others. So fantastic to not just see the running backs and the wide receivers getting recognized here for their rookie performances.
Yeah, the variety here is incredible.
Yeah, I love to see a kicker and an O-lineman on here. Both of them really good seasons.
Yeah, shout out Glute.
Yeah, that's
a fantastic rookie season. That's fantastic. York, I mean, TP for kickers. What a controversy, but what a season! What a season that is.
You give it to Glute here.
Man, I don't know. We might see a kicker win this award, and I would wager to say it might be the first time ever.
All right, well, let's see. You want to put money on that wager, Russ?
Can we do that right now? I'll give you $1 million if it's not.
All right.
I got money to blow.
And it goes to Salim Spence. From the Sarasota
we didn't shake on
it.
We didn't shake on it. Collusion. You knew it was happening.
I do get the slides ahead of time as the host, so I will not actually bet any money. Salim had a fantastic season for us in Sarasota, and just came out flying right away on the field. And I mean, 8 touchdowns in a rookie season is incredible. And we're just super excited to see what more he's going to do with us.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's what Sarasota needs, more weapons.
York was robbed.
And the nominations for Defensive Rookie of the Year are Xavier Walls, Philadelphia.
O'Donnell takes a snap, throws to his left, it's intercepted! Picked off by Xavier Walls! And the rookie linebacker has saved the game for the Philadelphia Liberty!
Tremendous Johnson, Baltimore.
Daytona takes a snap, throws over the middle, it's intercepted! Picked off by the rookie safety! He saves the touchdown!
CJ Sunjack, Philadelphia.
Jack takes a snap, is under pressure, throws it down the field quickly, it's going to be knocked down! Impressive play by the rookie!
Romulus Roman, Philadelphia.
Skywalker takes a snap, he's going to be sacked! Brought down by the rookie linebacker Roman, he fumbled the football, and is jumped on by Roman's teammate.
Willie Miller, San Jose.
Niggs takes the snap, steps back, he's going to be brought down almost immediately by the rookie nickelback! Willie Miller on the nickelback blitz, he did not see that coming!
All right, so, I mean, Cody, please start us off with your Philadelphia crew all here on the nominees.
Yeah, so season 29 draft, I mean, we crushed it on all our defensive picks. between Amulos, who's Roman, Ace, who's CJ Sonjak, and then Titan Xavier Walls. All these guys were huge parts of our offense this year. I can't believe how well these guys turned out. I have to say it's probably going to go to Titan. He was a leader on the defense this year. In the locker room, great guy. He had over 100 tackles this year, 5 sacks. He was a force to be reckoned with on defense.
Yeah,
I do
really.
have to say, as the London Royals co-GM, it is awesome to see both Sunjack and Miller on here. They were our 2 starting corners when we won the Ultimate 2 seasons ago. So awesome work by both of those guys. Also, Sunjack's 52.1% completion or catch allowed percent is just nuts.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think we've really only seen 60s.
Yeah, really low.
I think Walls is probably a name we're going to see on awards ballots for a long time. I think he's got a touch of the sim in him.
He's got that Ed Sim look, that big Ed Sim look.
All right, well, let's see if Walls was able to edge out the competition. And he was. Congratulations, Xavier
Congrats,
Walls.
Titan. Well deserved. Great guy.
Yeah, beast of a season.
Shout out Miller for getting on the list, though. I'm excited to see how he plays out for San Jose.
I love Seb.
Oh yeah,
And
great
The nominations
in the
for
locker room, for
Offensive
sure.
Performance of the Year are Nick Capricorn, Week 16.
Capricorn takes a snap, throws it quickly over the middle to Tichondrius Hood, and he's gonna dive across for an easy touchdown.
Jamar Laxon, Week 15.
Jackson takes the handoff sweep to the right, and he's gonna get past the entire NOLA defense, and San Jose finally has something to cheer about on the day. 10-30.
Jim the Vampire, Week 11.
Vampire takes the handoff to the right, and he's gonna cut upfield, and he's gonna outrun the entire San Jose defense, and Austin's gonna once again add a touchdown. They've put 60 on the board.
Kai Sakura, Week 8.
Jack takes a snap, throws it quickly outside to a wide open Kai Sakura, and he's gonna outrun the entire San Jose Sabercats defense. He's gonna go for an 83-yard touchdown. 7-10.
And Kobe Jack, Week 13.
Jack takes a snap, looks downfield, rolls to his left, goes downfield, he's got a wide open Mark Walker, and he's gonna go all the way into the end zone. Touchdown Yellowknife, they're up by 10.
All right, so we get ourselves to Offensive Performance of the Year. I will just start us off this time and just say I think that there's a clear front runner here. Some really incredible performances, but Kai Sakura in Week 8 just went off, and I don't think anyone can catch that one. Just a really, really incredible game there.
Yeah, any receiving game over like 150 yards is insane. To get to 200 and then go 30 past that on 7 catches, that I don't even know how they managed it. But Capricorn did have a 6 touchdown game as a quarterback, which is pretty insane as well.
Yeah, Capricorn had a really good game. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think I would have to edge it out with Sakura's just only 7 receptions for 3 touchdowns and 232 yards. Those were some big plays. Pretty much every single one of those receptions.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Laxon for doing it on both sides of the ball as well. Almost 100 yards rushing and receiving in the same game. And tutties on both ends. That's pretty great.
Yeah, agreed.
The only one to be shocked here is if the Vampire won. To me, everyone else had just such crazy games. The stat lines are insane. Kobe Jack almost had 500 yards passing in a game. That's nuts.
And it's wild to discount a 3 touchdown game from a
right.
Down.
It's like that. I mean,
On
that
13
line normally would be that's like a winner in a lot of seasons. This year, just
stacked.
Yeah.
And it goes to Nick Capricorn in Week 16. Yeah, that 6 touchdown game.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
Touchdowns are the new touchdowns.
Yeah. That's
Some
true.
things change all the time. Not touchdowns.
right.
And the nominations for Defensive Performance of the Year are Melvin Murdermoose, Week 5.
Colby Jack takes a step back, and he's brought down by the Murder Moose. Lost the football, Moose jumps on it, and it's going to be Colorado football.
Andrew Whitten, Week 14.
Robinson takes a snap, throws outside, it's going to be intercepted. Whitten's got it, he's going to return it back to the 45-yard line. New Orleans going to hold on to their lead.
Ernest Lover, Week 16.
Battle takes a step, throws a big lead, it's intercepted over the middle. Glover's got it, and he's going to fall. Oh, and that was going to be embarrassing. He fell just shy of a touchdown.
Albert Rushman, Week 10.
Jack takes a snap, throws to his left, he's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Rushman, and he's going back into the end zone. The Yeti have a 2-score lead over Yellowknife.
And A.J. Lucas, Week 4.
Diggs takes a snap, throws to throw it outside, it's going to be intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, A.J. Lucas, and he's going to return it past the 50 before he's brought down. Baltimore's got the football.
All right. So Defensive Performance of the Year. We have me in Week 16, Ernest Lover, Andrew Whitten in Week 14, Melvin Murdermoose in Week 5, Albert Rushman in Week 10, and AJ Lucas in Week 4. Starting with the shout out to the Colorado Yeti for having two really fantastic defensive performances on the ballot this year, with both Melvin Murdermoose and Katarn.
I was okay. Whatever. Murder Moose had just an insane game. Like a little bit of everything. 4 PDs. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong stat. 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a PD. They were all over the field.
I think.
Yeah, Whitten Mithrandir had another fantastic game for this one though as well. Because usually with like a three INT game, which was what he had, you don't see a ton of other stats. But even 10 tackles, and one of those was her touchdown. One of those picks was her touchdown, and still got some PDs in there. So that's a pretty incredible game as well.
Yeah,
I
really
think Whitten here.
I think Whitten had a really fantastic defensive performance. If I had maybe, if Ernest Lover had maybe been able to score on that interception, it might have made this a little bit closer. But I do think Whitten was edging out the competition a bit here. But let's see how the voters swung. Yes, Andrew Whitten, Week 14 Defensive Performance of the Year. Congratulations.
Yeah,
well done, Myth.
Crazy. Yep.
Shout out S29 DB Brotherhood, honorary member.
And our General Manager of the Year nominees are D. Director and Mithrandir from the New Orleans Second Line, Z-Wiz and Crunk from the Arizona Outlaws, Hi Hashti and DeWalt 27 from the Berlin Fire Salamanders, and Zane ZK and the Roche Limit from New York Silverbacks. Let's hear some GM love.
So for me, it's got to be between the two newest teams, Berlin and New York, to build it up that quick, appearing in the Ultimates this year, with New York ultimately taking it. It's got to be between those two teams. I don't know who's going to get the nod. Is the ring more important, or is the record more important in dominating teams?
So if I'm not mistaken, Berlin won it last year. Also had a really great season. I absolutely agree with Cody here that both GM pairs for the newest expansion teams, just incredible to see them be competitive so quickly. Watching the Expansion Bowl Ultimates was really exciting, and both very deserving on this award. To be on this nominee list. I also, huge shout out to the pairs in both Arizona and NOLA have just been keeping their teams competitive and into the playoffs, season in and season out. And that's not that easy a feat to do, honestly. A lot of teams will go through sort of rebuild stages, and to keep yourself up at the top of your division each season is really something to be proud of.
I think New York gets the nod here just for getting that ring. So I believe it's Zahn and Roche are going to get some.
Shout out DeWalt though. That's the Berlin team is also incredible. They didn't win it last year, the Wraiths did, but they did have the best record last year in their conference. And DeWalt is just a fantastic user in general, and he's built a crazy team. So
yeah,
wouldn't be mad with him getting it either.
All right, well, let's see who. And it is Haihashti and DeWalt, 27 GMs of the year. Congratulations to Berlin. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Stand-up guys. Both very deserving of it.
Absolutely. And DeWalt drafted me into the league, so a lot of love there.
Hey, High drafted me into the league.
There you go.
Wow.
The nominations
I just kind of stumbled my way
player
in.
of the year are Colby Jack, Yellowknife Wraiths,
Colby Jack takes the snap, waits to the rolls to his left, throws down the field. He's got an open man, and the block is going to allow his man to run all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Yellowknife. They're down by only 2.
Tatsu Nakamura, Arizona Outlaws,
Nakamura takes the handoff to the right, and he's going to gash the entire San Jose defense, and not a one of them is going to catch up to this man. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Arizona. They're up by 3.
Kai Sakura, Yellowknife Wraiths,
Jack takes the snap, throws it quickly down the field to a wide-open Kai Sakura, and the Chicago defense doesn't stand a chance of catching this guy. He's going into the end zone, and Yellowknife's going to go up by 4.
William Lim, Colorado Yeti,
Calvin takes the snap, throws a jump ball to William Lim, and he wins the jump ball contest. He's going to come down with a touchdown, and Colorado's going to have the lead.
Mo Magic, Chicago Butchers,
On the 1-yard line, it's going to be the handoff, and it's going to lead the way. Mo Magic led that touchdown run from 1 yard out. Chicago's got the lead.
All right, so the Offensive Player of the Year nominees just been introduced thanks to Russ Fan. Any words before we go straight to the award winner?
I think this one goes back to the calculus we discussed before with the MVP votes versus the offensive player. So I think Colby Jack may not win this one, but Kai and I think Nakamura both have solid shots here. But again, I think the MVP voting is going to be what sort of determines this one. Lots of great players, though.
I did forget to mention it earlier, but shout out to William Lim for breaking the single-season receiving yardage record in the ISFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Well, the Offensive Player of the Year is Tatsu Nakamura. Congratulations.
Hell yeah, hell of a season.
Absolutely insane.
Continue from last year, just running over everyone.
Did he end up breaking the all-purpose record?
I don't know.
Somebody look that up.
Someone look it up while the next video plays here.
Offensive Player of the Year are Cuco Clemente, Sarasota.
Jack steps back, throws it outside. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by guess who? Kuklo Clemente again. And he's going back for his second touchdown on the season. Sarasota strikes first.
Andrew New Orleans.
Robinson steps back, throws outside. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Andrew Whitten. And he's going to go back into the end zone uncontested. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Tyler Montaigne, Austin.
Jack takes the snap, steps back, and he's under pressure immediately. First one to get there is going to be Tyler Montaigne. He'll get credit for this safety.
Leonard Taylor, Yellowknife.
Alabama takes the snap, faces immediate pressure from his right side. Taylor brings him down from his blind side, and that's going to result in a safety.
Legacy Perfect, Arizona.
Robinson gets the football. It's going to be sacked, brought down by Legacy. Perfect on the blitz. He lost the football, and Perfect's going to dive on top of it. Arizona's got the football.
Right.
Nakamura was third in scrimmage charge. Quest DM me.
Thank you.
Third all time.
Thanks, Quest.
All right. So now we get to Defensive Player of the Year. And again, we've heard and talked about a lot of these names already. Just some fantastic plays here. again, really nice variety on the nominees. We have Witten at cornerback, Taylor at defensive end, Burfict and Montaigne at linebacker, and Kuko at safety. So it's great to see the stellar performances spread across a lot of different defensive positions here.
Yeah, you just missed out.
I'm glad I didn't have to vote. I'm glad I didn't have to vote on this award.
I was just thinking
so difficult this year.
Yeah,
this one's really hard.
I think it's between Clemente and Montaigne for me, and both seasons are just absolutely fantastic. I think voters, maybe you go touchdowns as the new touchdowns and just kind of let that be your guide. But man, lots of great stat lines here, but I think Montaigne or Clemente can take this one safely.
All right, well, let's see the way the votes worked out here. And Defensive Player of the Year is Tyler Montaigne, linebacker from the Austin Copperheads.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
Great
mean,
stat line.
I'm personally
Little bit of
sad
everything.
that, my teammate Kuko didn't quite make it here, but Montaigne had a really fantastic season. Really glad that Kuko was able to get the Safety of the Year award. I think really...
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best safety seasons probably all time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So here, congratulations, Montaigne. Just really fantastic season for you, and you are Defensive Player of the Year. And now we get to most dedicated member nominees for the ISFL. And our nominees are Schwarznar, Dude Man, Darkness Rising, Bailey, and Laser. So,
Killers of the league here.
Yeah.
So I think these may be names that some of you are familiar with, some not as much. Schwarznar maybe because of her rookie mentor head and really activity with rookies, maybe a little bit more known, but really a lot of these, every single one of these users does so much to keep the league running. Darkness in HO, Bailey doing fantasy and many other league jobs. I think I've lost count of how many department heads he is right now. Dude Man, you'll see him on the announcements. He does sim work. Any other pieces here want to add to our nominees?
Yeah, I think Darkness is disqualified because he does too much. So I would disqualify him. Schwartz has done just a fantastic job with the rookie, even just running like the rookie Discord channel. Anytime I'm in there, she's always answering questions for people, no matter when or where the questions pop up. So that's something I've noticed. But everyone on here does so much for the whole league.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see where this goes because I think everyone really here is deserving.
All right. Well, our ISFL most dedicated member is Dude Man. This is not a surprise to me. Just incredibly dedicated, really helping the league run, again, a little bit maybe more in the background, but always there working on things in the management server and keeping the league afloat.
Yeah, I mean, he's a relatively new member. I think he's only been here since the beginning of the year. I think he's a season 28 guy. So, I mean, to put this quick and be a big part of the league, that's huge.
And the nominations for Most Valuable Player
Congrats.
are Tyler Montaigne, Austin.
Slogsberger takes the snap, steps back, goes over the middle, it's intercepted! Picked off by Montaigne, and he's gonna go back into the end zone. Touchdown, Austin! 14-0.
Colby Jack, Yellowknife.
Jack takes the snap, goes quickly outside, it's gonna be caught by a wide open García, racing down the field, into 20, 10-5, touchdown! Yellowknife, they cut the lead down to just 3.
Nick Capricorn, Berlin.
Capricorn steps back, throws down the field to a wide open skip. He's got the Yellowknife defense chasing after him, but he's gonna go back all the way into the end zone touchdown, 16-7 right before the end of the third quarter.
Tatsu Nakamura, Arizona.
Tatsu Nakamura takes the handoff to the right. He's got a huge gap in the NOLA defense. He's racing past the linebackers, past the safety. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown, Arizona. They take a 7-3 lead.
Kai Sakura, Yellowknife.
56 seconds to go to the game. Colby Jack takes the snap, rolls to his right, throws down the field. He's got a wide open Kai Sakura, and he's gonna be in the end zone. Touchdown, Yellowknife. They win the game, 41-35.
All right, so our ISFL S29 MVP. You just heard about the nominees. You've heard us talk about them a lot. So Tyler Montaigne won his Defensive Player of the Year, and Tatsu won Offensive Player of the Year. So I think that means it's probably down to Jack. I mean, it is down to Jack Caper-Cullen or Sakura. I think it's hard not to see this going to Colby Jack this year, with just a really incredible season for Yellowknife.
Yeah, I'd like to see a dark horse like Sakura get it, see a wide receiver nab it, but it's got to be Colby Jack on this.
Yeah, I'd love to see Montaigne win it, but that's not going to happen, obviously. But Colby Jack, I think, is the front runner here.
2 from the same offense is pretty wild too. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's fantastic work from both of them.
And your S29 MVP is Colby Jack from Yellowknife Wraiths.
Yeah, just
stellar job.
Yeah, congrats to
fantastic
Fly.
Season. Well deserved, Fly.
Yeah, Fly runs well over there.
Fly's a nice dude too. Even
Nice
if he was a stinky GM, he's a nice guy.
And with that really positive note, we just want to thank you all for tuning in, dealing with all of us.
Are we supposed to end it negative?
We're supposed to end on a positive. No, thank you all for tuning in, being with us for the stream. Congratulations to all of the nominees and the winners for the DSFL and the ISFL. S29 was a great season for the league and for many players and users. Thank you to Boosie for all of the renders, Infinite for the slides, Russ Fan for all the videos, and thank you to all of the stream participants here on the voice chat with me. Thank you so much for tuning in and lending your insights, making this a fun event for our community.
Yeah. And
Congrats, everybody.
for hosting.
Congratulations to all the winners. Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to be back here for season 30.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Good night.